ado, let's bring out tonight's first team, Magic.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are your Guns and Rollers! Skating for you tonight, number 29, Artemis Foulmouth. Number 37, Onryo Hooligan. Number 66, Brady Punch. Number 218, Dirty and Rotten. Number 73, Frankenherder. Number 81, Harajuku Girl. Number 419, Captain Juvie Hall. Number 1221, Roller Eclipse. Number 50, Captain Scald Eagle. Number 889, Scouts Honor. Number 6, Squid Vicious. Number 120, the Super Six Pack. Number M80, Tiger Bomb. Number 2.1, the Untamed Shrew. And number 32G, Va Va Boom. Those are your Guns and Rollers.
Their opponents decked out in their green uniforms with gold trim. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the High Rollers! Skating tonight for the High Rollers, number 210, Heidi Go Seek. Number 72, Honey Hellfire. Number 82, Hurricane Katrina. Number 5, Intensive Scare. Their captain, number 11, Kick Cassidy. Number 55, Layla Smackdown. Number 28, Minstrel Psycho. Number 47, Penny Dreadful. Number 187, Raw Footage. Number 395, Schoolgirl Crusher. Number 36, Sedusa Destroy. Number 49, Steve Holt. Number 10, Sully Skullkicker. Number 3B, Texine. And number 23, Rick Deckard. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your High Rollers! The High Rollers are coached by Viva Vendetta and Napalm Beth. Well, Magic, tonight's bout, a battle for first place between these two teams. Both of these teams victorious at the Coliseum in the season opener.
I am flipping out, Mike. I can't wait for this action to get started, and the ladies are on the track ready to roll.
High Rollers sending out number 28, Minstrel Psycho, to the jam line.
A little bit of the new Derby action. Everybody piled up at the back of the box.
Jamming for the Guns and Rollers is going to be number 6, Squid Vicious.
And for the High Rollers, that's number 28, Minstrel Psycho.
It's all good. That first whistle will send the blockers. And that second set of whistles sends the jammers. Now the jammers are the skaters with the star on their caps.
Squid Vicious pounding away at that front wall. High Rollers hanging her up.
And it's Minstrel Psycho is the first jammer through the pack now. She has been declared lead jammer because she was the first jammer to make it through the pack completely legally. That affords her the ability to call off the jam at any time by repeatedly placing her hands on her hips.
Squid Vicious took quite a beating on her way through there, but she's broken through the pack.
Now both jammers free on their initial pass are eligible to score points for their team. They pick up a point for each blocker that they legally pass.
Squid Vicious on her own around the outside, cutting to the inside. One more to get by. Heidi Go Seek drops her out in the turn, but loses her. Squid Vicious on the inside, slides through for 5 points.
Minstrel Psycho headed to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. She picked up a major back block penalty. She is no longer the lead jammer, and she will now sit in the penalty box for 1 minute worth of time.
Leaving Squid Vicious on the track by herself in what we call a power jam.
Now, even though Minstrel Psycho is in the penalty box, Squid Vicious will get a point for passing Minstrel Psycho once she passes the rearmost blocker in the pack on each scoring pass.
Hurricanes Katrina dishing out shoulders and hips all the way through that pack, just making everybody crazy. High Rollers defenses at the front of the pack are out of control. They're just really holding it together. Squid Vicious cannot make.
Squid Vicious getting knocked to the outside of the far straightaway. She quickly back up and on her skates, but that jam reached its 2-minute conclusion.
Holy mackerel, Mike, that was some action. Everybody back on the track. On the jammer line for the Guns N' Rollers. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Untamed Shrew. Mike, looks like we're looking at an official timeout. Is there any Derby 101 you want to talk about?
Well, right there we saw in that last jam, we saw one jammer be sent to the penalty box. That was Minstrel Psycho. She is going to start this jam in the penalty box. That's why we only have one jammer lined up on the jam line, Magic.
Thanks, I forgot. Just in case you're wondering, each team gets 3 timeouts for each game. The officials get as many timeouts as they want.
Guns N' Rollers opened with a 9-point jam. Minstrel Psycho picked up 3 points before being sent to the penalty box for the High Rollers.
High Rollers apparently going into this jam down 1 blocker. Slight advantage. Guns N' Rollers. Guns N' Rollers starting this jam on a knee to get the jammer released right away.
Now the blockers taking a knee at the front of the pack like they did creates a no-pack situation, and when there's no pack, the jammer gets released almost immediately.
Untamed Shrew pushing her way out front, trying to drive those blockers forward.
Minstrel Psycho out of the penalty box for the High Rollers and attacking the front of the pack on her initial pass.
It's a battle. Untamed Shrew down in turn 1. Minstrel Psycho still hung up. Frankenherder and Brady punched, working some defensive line in the front. Juvie Hall getting in on the action.
And Minstrel Psycho out of the pack first once again. She is your lead jammer, having passed every opposing blocker legally on that first pass.
Untamed Shrew still hung up in the pack, working hard to get her way out of there.
Now Untamed Shrew still working on her initial pass. Meanwhile, Minstrel Psycho attacking the pack and picking up points for every blocker she passes. A 4-point pass by Minstrel Psycho and the High Rollers, bringing our score to 9-7.
We'd like to thank OHSU, the official sports medicine provider for the Rose City Rollers. OHSU Sports Medicine. Everybody back on the track. Another official timeout. Hey, Mike, you want to talk about anything special about blockers right now?
Well, as you can see, both teams have a contingent of 4 blockers that can be out on the track in addition to their jammer. Now, if a team has a blocker in the penalty box, they cannot have another blocker out on the track. That position is taken. So in this jam, the Guns N' Rollers starting with 1 blocker in the penalty box. They have 3 out on the track right now. The High Rollers with no blockers in the penalty box have all 4 blockers out on the track.
Those of you who've never been here before, this will occasionally happen. We'd like to thank Ron Tonkin Fiat, style and fuel efficiency. Reign at Ron Tonkin Fiat. Check out the Ron Tonkin Jammer Fiat, which is here tonight. That's Ron Tonkin Fiat.
Number 8, Sully Skull Kicker on the jam line for the High Rollers. Opposite Super 6-pack for the Guns N' Rollers. And again, that first whistle sends the blockers. It allows them the ability to skate forward when they choose.
The jammers can't be released until all of the blockers have passed the pivot line. That has happened, and this jam is on. Super 6-pack running the inside line. They're looking for a chance to break through.
Sully Skull Kicker trying to push the GNR blockers out front. Havana Good Time and Scald Eagle.
Excellent work. Both packs. Sully Skull Kicker really hung up in the front. She breaks through.
And it's Sully Skull Kicker picking up lead jammer status for the High Rollers.
High Rollers really hanging it together. Scald Eagle with a great offensive block right there. Gets Super 6-pack pushed up to the front of the pack.
And Sully Skull Kicker making quick work of the pack on that scoring pass. A 5-point grand slam. A point for each blocker and the opposing jammer. Juvie Hall rejoining the action from the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box as Sully Skull Kicker calls off the jam. She picks up 1 more point on that pass before she called off the jam, Magic.
This is a great game so far. We'd like to thank the Delta Cafe, amazing Southern fare, big eats and stiff drinks. Check out the coupon in your program tonight.
Magic, it looks like both teams going to start this jam at full strength. Our penalty box is empty, and we've got Honey Hellfire jamming for the High Rollers.
And Squid Vicious for the Guns N' Rollers, who makes a run for it, and she is your lead jammer before turn 1.
Squid Vicious picking up Guns N' Rollers' first lead jammer status tonight. Honey Hellfire fighting out front.
Untamed Shrew doing a great job trying to hang her up, but she breaks it out, and she is through.
Both jammers now eligible to score points for their respective teams. Penny Dreadful.
Squid Vicious pulling a great play, calling off that jam before Scully Skull Kicker can get around and pick up any points. Actually, I think that was Honey Hellfire. We'd like to thank the Brew, the station where butt rock never died. That's the Brew. Is it really the write-up for that?
Number 23, Wreck Deckard on the jam line for the High Rollers.
And once again, a Super 6-pack.
Again, the blockers starting on a knee to release the jammers quickly. That creates a no-pack situation. Whistles all over the place, but Rhett Deckard out of the pack first with lead jammer status for the High Rollers, but it looks like Heidi goes Seek. And number 395, Schoolgirl Crusher, headed to the penalty box.
Rhett Deckard back in the pack. Guns N' Rollers wall up front, slowing her down. Juvie Hall, Onryo Hooligan, and Scouts Honor going at her up front. Scouts Honor drops her to the outside. Scouts Honor on the way to the penalty box for a blocking out of bounds major.
Super 6-pack now clear of the pack on her initial pass for the Guns N' Rollers.
Rhett Deckard taking a beating in that Guns N' Rollers front wall.
That front wall consisting of Scald, Eagle, Juvie Hall, and Onryo Hooligan. Rhett Deckard calls off the jam after picking up another 5-point pass for the High Rollers.
Hey everybody, Big Brothers Big Sisters is proud to be an RCR's Sports Buddies partner, encouraging young people to get active. That's Big Brothers Big Sisters Sports Buddies program.
Minstrel Psycho returning to the jam line for the High Rollers. 7 points to her credit so far this evening. She opposite number 21, Untamed Shrew for the Guns N' Rollers.
Both teams going into this jam suffering from a little bit of penalty trouble. Down a couple of blockers.
Minstrel Psycho battling out front. That's Brady Punch and Havana Good Time trying to hold her back. And Minstrel Psycho once again through the pack with lead jammer status for the High Rollers.
Untamed Shrew breaks out right behind her. It's a foot race to the back of what's left of the pack.
Minstrel Psycho now 3 for 3, picking up lead jammer status while she's the jammer for the High Rollers.
And that jam is off.
Fists in the air for ref solidarity. No score in that jam. Our score remains 18-10 in favor of the High Rollers.
You know what's great? The Lloyd Athletic Club, the official fitness trainers of your Rose City Rollers. That's the Lloyd Athletic Club.
Sully Skull Kicker lined up on the jam line for the High Rollers. Opposite Squid Vicious for the Guns N' Rollers.
High Rollers starting this jam on a knee to get the jam started. Nope, that was a fake. A little bit of discussion going on in the pack. Nobody quite wanting to make a run for it. Guns N' Rollers decide to take it out and make things happen. Jammers are released. Squid Vicious playing a little defense in the backfield right away, trying to slip her way around the outside.
Squid Vicious feeling the brunt of intensive scare, and Penny Dreadful there at the back of the pack.
Sully Skull Kicker hung up with a nice block from the Scald Eagle. She runs her way, she breaks through. Both jammers break through at the same time, but Squid Vicious is on her way to the penalty box for a track cut major.
And a minor track cut picked up by Sully Skull Kicker. Since neither jammer made it through the pack legally on their initial pass, there is no lead jammer this jam. That means, Magic, we're going the full 2 minutes.
2 minutes! Everybody down in the backfield. Sully Skull Kicker up against that last line of defense from Juvie Hall. Slides through on the inside line.
And that's a 4-point pass for Sully Skull Kicker and the High Rollers.
Guns N' Rollers trying to reorganize in the back of the field. Sully Skull Kicker on her way out to the penalty box for a back block major.
Sully Skull Kicker not happy with that call as she heads over to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box now. As she takes a seat, the opposing jammer gets to be released, and that's Squid Vicious, who absorbed a huge hit from intensive scare.
Squid Vicious pushing that line, gets her out to 20 feet and is compelled to let her go. The jam is off. How about New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale, or Ranger IPA? Grab one from our concession stand right now.
How many Guns N' Rollers fans we got in the house tonight? not bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your high rollers!
And we've got a team timeout being called by the Guns N' Rollers. We're going to kick it over to DJ Adam 13.
I want to remind everybody the PDX Kids Calendar, Portland's most comprehensive resource for family fun and happenings. That's the PDX Kids Calendar.
We're not supposed to be talking over team timeout.
I know, I just wanted to get that thing out of the way.
No problem. I just wanted to get it to you. I'll catch that. Probably. Squeeze in.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a chance, if there's any empty space next to you in your seats, please pack them in. This bout is sold out. More people are still coming in the doors who actually have tickets, so scooch next to each other, make some room, give those people some seats. I'd hate to see anybody go home with some bruises from Rocket Mean. Open them up.
Well, it appears as though this team timeout has now been upgraded to an official timeout.
Everybody dance.
Fans, that timeout was brought to you by The Brew, the station where butt rock never dies. The Brew.
I know. Man, I do love me some derby. Hey, I'd like to remind everybody that one of our proud sponsors is Open Space Cafe, brunch, bar, Wi-Fi. Embrace the pace of the Open Space Cafe. This jam is close to being underway.
Frankenherder starting this jam for the Guns N' Rollers unopposed as Sully Skullkicker serves out the rest of that back block penalty she picked up in the last jam.
Frankenherder breaks through for lead jammer status.
Magic, this is exactly what the Guns N' Rollers need right now, a power jam in their favor as they are currently down 12 points to the High Rollers.
Guns N' Rollers working up front, trying to slow down the pack. Sully Skullkicker on the inside, back on the track. She's through on her initial scoring pass. Frankenherder caught up in the backfield. One more to get by for Frankenherder, and she picks up 5 and calls it off. We'd like to thank the Portland Mercury, food, arts, entertainment, and news you need. That's your Portland Mercury.
Honey Hellfire lined up on the jam line for the High Rollers, opposite number 66, Brady Punch for the Guns N' Rollers. High Rollers starting out this jam down one blocker. Layla Smackdown currently in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
High Rollers doing a great job hanging up Honey Hellfire. She is really pushing at that front wall, but nobody's letting her have any way.
Excellent defense out front by Scald Eagle and Roller Eclipse, but Honey Hellfire gets through and picks up lead jammer status for the High Rollers.
Texine with a huge shoulder drops Brady Punch to the outside. Everybody going at her, and she weaves right on through it. Both jammers on scoring passes right now.
4 points already picked up by Honey Hellfire. Brady Punch through on her initial pass.
Guns and Rollers getting it together, trying to stay together as a group and make a nice attempt at slowing down Honey Hellfire on this monstrous jam of hers.
Smart play right there by Honey Hellfire, trying to hold back Brady Punch as long as she could. 2 points picked up by Honey Hellfire at the end of that jam.
We'd like to thank Rockstar Energy Drink. See the energy on the track, Rockstar Energy Drink. Pick up a can today. And a huge shout out to our Rockstar Energy Drink section. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise over there.
4-3 pack advantage for the Guns and Rollers. Super 6-pack jamming for GNR. Minstrel Psycho jamming for the High Rollers.
Super 6-pack looking for a way to break through that green wall. Super 6-pack weaving around the outside, finds her way through. She's your lead jammer.
High Rollers losing another blocker to the penalty box right now. Minstrel Psycho out front battling Untamed Shrew and Havana Good Time. And Minstrel Psycho picking up a back block major, sending her to the penalty box.
That leaves Super 6-pack on the track all by herself in a power jam.
Nice offensive block in the back of the pack by Havana Good Time for the Guns and Rollers. That allows Super 6-pack to get free and pick up a 5-point grand slam for the Guns and Rollers.
If I was down 8 points in a jam, I think I might not want anybody else skating for me in a power jam other than Super 6-pack.
Oh, and she's got a great contingent of blockers out there right now. Intensive Scare trying to hold her back out front. Untamed Shrew giving her some help.
Untamed Shrew drags her through, slows things down, and she's compelled to let her go. Through for another 5. That's Super 6-pack.
Looks like Havana Good Time may be headed to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for a destruction major. And we've got a team timeout being called by the High Rollers. This team timeout brought to you by The Brew.
Crank it. This is going really well.
Well, and again, those team timeouts last 1 minute in length. Each team with 3 timeouts during a full-length bout.
Referees with all the timeouts they want that last as long as they want. On the jammer line for the Guns and Rollers, one of my favorites, Squid Vicious.
Squid Vicious with 10 points to her credit so far this evening as Minstrel Psycho, the jammer for the High Rollers, starts out this jam in the penalty box.
Guns and Rollers down to the penalty box right now. Squid Vicious really fighting for it up front.
Penny Dreadful, Layla Smackdown, and Heidi Go Seek that front wall of High Rollers blockers.
Huge pile up in the turn there. Somebody picking up. Looks like Layla Smackdown picked up a low block major on that one.
Squid Vicious landed herself in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers. Minstrel Psycho out of the penalty box and has picked up a lead jammer status for the High Rollers. Minstrel Psycho fighting around Brady Punch and Frankenherder. Hide-and-go-seek up to help out.
Frankenherder dropping her to the outside.
Tiger Bomb headed to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Brady Punch taking a beating from the High Rollers in the backfield there. They drag her to the outside. She cannot get back in time to save everybody.
Minstrel Psycho absorbing a huge hit. Havana Goodtime headed back to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank OHSU Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine providers for your Rose City Rollers. That's OHSU Sports Medicine.
High Rollers send out Rick Deckard to the jam line. She's going to start this jam in a power jam situation as Squid Vicious will start this jam in the penalty box.
Both teams down due to the penalties. Going into this jam, the High Rollers down more. Rick Deckard right at that front line and up against Frankenherder and the Untamed Shrew.
Rick Deckard trying to find an answer to Frankenherder. Frankenherder pushing her to the outside of the far straightaway. But Frankenherder being sent to the penalty box. Rick Deckard is your lead jammer.
Squid Vicious taking a beating from Layla Smackdown in the backfield. Working around the outside, getting hung up.
And a 5-point grand slam for Rick Deckard.
Squid Vicious powers through and breaks out of that pack.
Rick Deckard looking to take advantage of this shortened pack. Hits the back of the pack and calls off the jam. Squid Vicious picks up 2 points before she called it off, though. High Rollers 43, Guns N' Rollers 27, Magic.
We'd like to thank Joe's Burgers, the food, 4 locations, awesome burgers, and official feeder of RCR volunteers. That's Joe's Burgers.
Super six-pack jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Sully Skull Kicker jamming for the High Rollers. Each jammer has 10 points to their credit so far in this bout.
Super six-pack weaving around, working her way around the outside on that pack. Super six-pack breaks through, and she is your lead jammer.
Sully Skull Kicker being sent to the penalty box, picked up a back block major penalty.
Guns N' Rollers setting up shop right in the front, trying to slow things down. Super six-pack weaves right on through for 5 points.
Excellent work by the Guns N' Rollers blockers to stagger out that pack, allowing a huge hole for Super six-pack to skate through on that last scoring pass.
Guns N' Rollers trying to carve somebody off and slow this pack down by holding player back. And that jam is off. Amazing play, Mike checks.
Holy cow, what an amazing bout, fans. 43-32 in favor of the High Rollers.
We'd like to thank Kay's Bar, Selwood's sweetest watering hole and proud sponsor since 2007. That's Kay's Bar.
Well, Magic, it looks like we've got ourselves an official timeout.
Can I talk over official timeouts? Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's after party is at the Watershed, 5040 Southeast Milwaukee. Your bracelet, your ticket gets you in for free. That's the Heartless Heather's anti-Valentine's Day party, and it just so happens to be our after party as well.
Well, and fans, if you haven't gotten a chance to pick up your raffle tickets tonight, do that. Our tickets are $1 each or 10 for $5. Your prize tonight, a $25 gift certificate to the Nightlight Lounge and a Pabst Blue Ribbon swag bag. Make sure you get those tickets soon. That raffle will be happening at halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put it together for Mascot Megan, who's trying to get a cheer together. Mascot Megan! Or is she just going to give up? Fight apathy or don't. With just this little bit of time left, I'd like to thank Timothy Murray Photography. Visit TimothyMurrayPhotography.com for classic black and white and derby images. That's Timothy Murray Photography.
Head ref Oedipus ref over at the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box with Scrappy Go Lucky addressing the skaters there. And it looks like Scald Eagle has been sent to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers. That jam was called off because there were too many Guns N' Rollers blockers on the track. Remember, you can have 4 blockers on the track, including those that sit in the penalty box, and 1 jammer. No more.
Thank you for your participation. We'd like to thank Bridgetown Chiropractic, the official bone cracker of the RCR since 2006. That's Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Head referee Oedipus ref again over discussing the situation with the skaters in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. It looks like we are set now. Guns N' Rollers going to start down 2 blockers. High Roller's going to start down 1 blocker.
And their jammer would be number 21, the Untamed Shrew.
Untamed Shrew going to start in a power jam situation as Sully Skullkicker still serving out the back block penalty she picked up in the last jam.
Schoolgirl Crusher and Texine giving it to her up front. She makes a run for it. On the inside, it's the Untamed Shrew, lead jammer.
Seduce and Destroy being sent to the penalty box for a high block major.
Squid Vicious and Frankenherder hanging up things for the High Rollers that are left in the pack. Sully Skullkicker back on the track, driving through, weaving out. She's on her scoring pass.
Intensive scare being called for a forearm major. That's going to send her to the penalty box. And
Squid Vicious with an amazing offensive block back there, getting the Untamed Shrew through just in time.
And that was a 5-point pass by Untamed Shrew as she called off the jam for the Guns N' Rollers.
Oh, once again, the official timeout. We'd like to thank PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland music, arts, events, and happenings. That's PDX Pipeline. Everybody hanging out on the track. Official timeout's over, and on the jammer line for the Guns N' Rollers Super Six-Pack.
She's lined up against number 72, Honey Hellfire for the High Rollers. Both teams starting this jam down 2 blockers.
Scald Eagle joining her friends on the track. This jam is on.
Texine headed to the penalty box. Hurricanes Katrina headed to the penalty box. Texine gets there first. Hurricanes Katrina checks in.
Both jammers breaking through. Honey Hellfire is your lead jammer. Super six-pack, hot on her tail.
With 6 points separating these two teams, that is some intense pace on the track right now, Magic.
This is easily the fastest jam of the evening, Mike. That was some incredible action, even though only 3 points were scored.
That was 3 points picked up by the Guns and Rollers, though, and that means, fans, we've got a 3-point bout.
Make some noise for the number 3! We'd like to thank Fire on the Mountain, Buffalo Wings to Die For on Burnside and the Interstate. That's Fire on the Mountain.
Team timeout now being called by the High Rollers. This team timeout brought to you by The Brew.
I'm afraid to say it without actually looking at it because that's too late. The Brew, that's the station where butt rock never died.
I don't even understand what that means. It means they play a lot of butt rock, I think. Yes. Is he okay?
Adam? I think he's all right. Adam!
Just let him roll through.
He's good. Killjoy.
Watch out, that was on the microphone, dude. Just let him keep going.
What?
Let Adam keep going.
Oh, yeah. Official timeout now? No.
I just want to let him roll through it.
Yeah. I'd like to remind everybody that Magic Pony's favorite waxing center is the European Waxing Center Waxing Experiences. That's the European Wax Center.
I got no shame.
All right, we've got skaters back on the track, lined up and ready to go. We've got Frankenherder jamming for the Guns and Rollers, Wreck Decker jamming for the High Rollers.
Frankenherder around the outside, and before turn one, she is your lead jammer.
Wreck Deckard fighting against the front of the pack. Harajuku girl out front. Brady Punch trying to help her out.
Brady Punch and Harajuku girl running her down, but they couldn't catch her. Frankenherder through for 4 points.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's a lead change. Guns and Rollers 44, High scores 43. The jungle a little riled up right now.
The jam has started. Super six-pack for the Guns N' Rollers.
Sully Skull Kicker jamming for the high rollers, already pushing that front wall of Guns N' Rollers. Blockers out front. And it's Sully Skull Kicker picking up lead jammer status for the high rollers.
Super six-pack hung up in the backfield by that high rollers wall. Hurricanes Katrina driving her out.
Sully Skull Kicker going around the outside of turn one, dances around the GNR blockers, and that's a 5-point scoring pass for the high rollers.
Super six-pack on the inside breaks through on her scoring pass.
Hurricanes Katrina now headed to the penalty box for the high rollers. Sully Skull Kicker attacking the pack once again.
Sully Skull Kicker shrugging off huge hits all the way around and then calling off that jam.
And that's another lead change. High rollers back out front, 51-44 in the closing minutes of this first half, Magic.
I don't think I can handle a game this amazing all night long. On the line for Guns N' Rollers, once again, Squid Vicious.
Honey Hellfire with the jammer cap for the high rollers.
Frankenherder up front, slowing her down, but not hanging her up. She picked up a minor cut and is not lead jammer. Squid Vicious on the inside, on the other hand, is a lead jammer, and she calls off that jam.
Fist in the air for ref solidarity. No score in that jam.
Hey, we'd like to thank Oaks Amusement Park, home of the Rose City Rollers, the location of the hangar. That's Oaks Amusement Park.
High rollers starting this jam with 2 blockers in the penalty box. GNR at full strength as they send out.
That's Minstrel Psycho. And for Guns N' Rollers, in her rookie year, Scouts Honor.
High rollers trying to stagger the start of this jam. Both jammers now released.
Scouts Honor weaving her way around the outside to become lead jammer.
Skeeve Holt being sent to the penalty box for the high rollers.
Guns N' Rollers up front trying to slow things down, take advantage of the speed of this pack.
Minstrel Psycho switching up, playing defense, and a job well done. Picked up a back block major for Scouts Honor. Minstrel Psycho and the high rollers now in a power jam.
Minstrel Psycho up against that front line from GNR. She breaks through for a grand slam.
Actually, that was her initial pass.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. Now remember, Scout was declared lead jammer before she was sent to the penalty box. That means this jam has no lead jammer. We're going the full 2 minutes.
Guns N' Rollers holding up their wall in the front, hoping to stop Minstrel Psycho on her way through.
Layla Smackdown trying to destroy that Guns N' Rollers front wall. Does a great job.
Juvie Hall hung up in the backfield behind Layla Smackdown and Heidi Goes Seek.
No pack called and Minstrel Psycho through. That's a 5-point grand slam for the high rollers.
That was some amazing and very strategic play on both teams. Minstrel Psycho weaving from the inside to the out. Juvie Hall dropping her to the outside. And that jam is off.
4 points picked up at the end of that jam, and fans, we're at halftime!
The raffle is coming up. You've got about 7 minutes to pick up raffle tickets before we draw for that $25 Nightlife Lounge gift certificate and a PBR Pabst Blue Ribbon swag basket.